to talk about drawing conclusions. And when we read, actually all through our life we draw conclusions. Do you know what I mean by drawing conclusions? What does it mean to draw a conclusion?
Draw something that's fiction.
Ah, it's not a drawing. On paper anyway.
It's not a drawing.
Drawing
in your mind?
Yeah, you draw it in your mind. So let me give you a story. Last night, we got out all of our Christmas decorations and got ready to decorate our Christmas tree, but we had to plug in all the lights, okay, to see if they'd work before we put them on the tree. Regina, so you can hear me, please. So I went over and I plugged them all in, and Callie and Angelina had beat me there, and they were, had said, oh, Mom, we already did it, we're all set. I said, oh, good, okay. So we strung all the lights on, and then all of a sudden I plugged it in, and what kind of conclusion can you draw?
It didn't work. It didn't work.
And how come? Because they put them on. One conclusion is correct.
That they didn't really test it.
You could draw that conclusion based on what we know that they're kids, based on that they told me that they did it, and they were really excited. And how would you feel if you were really excited? Would you maybe do everything you were supposed to do? You might not. So we can draw conclusions based on my story about Kelly and Angelina, sometimes because we have experienced them. So we know text to self, right? When we talk about a book. We can say text to text when we talk about two books we compare, and we can draw conclusions when we read between two books. Or we can do text to world. I can say, well, I know that Christmas lights don't always work everywhere in the world. And I've seen other people have that problem. So I can draw the conclusion that, uh-oh. Even before I finish the story, some people can draw a conclusion about what's going to happen and how come. Okay? So, here we go right now. In our reading, we draw conclusions all the time. We don't even sometimes know we're doing it. But it's very important. Good readers do that, and it's very, very important. So it says, I'm going to read it to you out loud. Follow along with me quietly. Jason's mother said, you will see your grandmother in a few weeks. She will fly here for Thanksgiving. What do you know about Jason's grandmother? So based on what I read, what do you know about Jason's grandmother? We're going to draw some conclusions about Jason's grandmother, just based on what we know about his grandmother. Oops, wait 1 second, let me just calibrate. So sorry. What do we know about Jason's grandmother? What do we know?
She's flying.
Ah, we can highlight that. So you said that Jason's grandmother, she will fly here. How do we know that?
Because
it tells us. We can draw the conclusions because we know that. Okay? There's something we know when she flies here, though, my friend. Does she live just next door?
No.
Where do you think she lives? Self-check.
Does she live in the next town? Does she drive there?
Where do you think she might live? In another state. How come you know she probably doesn't live in the same state? She might live in another state. How come you know that? She's about to do it.
She can drive.
Ah! She lives in another state. Self-check. Self-check. She lives in another state because we know that she
can drive.
Because she flew to visit.
Can I shut the door?
To visit. It's the because part. It's this part that really we're drawing a conclusion about. We know she lives in another state because she had to fly there. That helps us know that she lives in another state. She doesn't live close. Okay? This is our conclusion. We can draw that conclusion based on what we know that she flew. Anything else we know about his grandmother? Anything else we know about his grandmother? Anything else we know?
She's going there for Thanksgiving.
She's going there for Thanksgiving. Okay. He's going to see his grandmother in a few weeks. She will fly here for Thanksgiving. Okay. Is there a conclusion we can reach there?
Yeah.
Can you draw a conclusion about her going there for Thanksgiving?
No.
What kind of conclusion? Self-check?
That'll be an trip.
that she's going to eat turkey because it's Thanksgiving. They're going to eat turkey because it's Thanksgiving. I'm just putting TG because I'm going to run out of space. Okay? So we know, based on that it's Thanksgiving here, okay, we know that they're going to eat turkey because we can draw the conclusion that we all mostly eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Okay. I love these drawing conclusions. Who can tell me what else do we know about Jason's grandmother? Okay, so she'll be there in a few weeks. So is it Thanksgiving right now? Can we draw the conclusion? Is it Thanksgiving right now? No, because she's coming in a few weeks. So it's probably more like the month of?
October.
Beginning of November, maybe even October, right? It's a few weeks from now. If we look at our calendar, we know that. Our calendar is on the back of our drawer. Okay, so drawing conclusions is a really powerful thing. We sometimes know the answers, and sometimes we're not quite sure, but we know it based on what we have experienced, what we maybe have read, what we have seen happen in the world. Really, drawing conclusions is all about text to text, text to self, and text to world. And you need to support that information by what's up here in your reading. So if you are thinking about trying to answer questions, you need to go back to the story and find out the answer, right? And sometimes it's really black and white, and sometimes drawing conclusions is not so black and white. We mean that I have to think about, well, what would happen in that kind of a situation? And you're drawing conclusions based on your own experiences or things you've read that you figured out and learned from the world and from other books. Okay? Drawing conclusions is a pretty sophisticated thing. And when you are answering things, when I ask you, can you tell me about this character? You draw conclusions often, but you don't always tell me because the rest of the part. You don't tell me the beginning part of the, you say, well, it's Thanksgiving. You don't say, she lives in another state because she flew to visit them for Thanksgiving, and they're going to eat turkey because it's Thanksgiving. See how much detail drawing conclusions can give you? Do you see how much detail drawing conclusions can give you? Drawing conclusions is a pretty sophisticated reading piece, so we're going to be talking more about it. This won't be our only lesson on that. Okay, thank you, my friend.